Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Win Bigly podcast. Today I've got my good friend and business partner, Erik Adank. So I didn't say that right. It's Adank, isn't it? Adank. So I learned that through his voicemail, not because he ever corrected me. But he is actually launching our first one-way exteriors location, which is our nationwide brand. So he's up here this week training with us and learning all the ins and outs of leadership and company culture and all that. So we're gonna dive in today and just have a blast with Erik. So Erik, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So we're super stoked to have North Carolina being launched, right? Yeah. And have you and Amber joining the team,
yes.
And building it. And you've been here now for a day and a half, roughly.
Yep.
What are some things that you're recognizing in? Well, let's step back from that a little bit. Tell everybody a little bit about what you've done, where you've been in life, and where you've worked, what jobs you've had, what businesses you've had, and all that good stuff. What your experience is, and how we're working together now.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Right.
So that's a wild story. So I'm from Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, and I've not had many jobs.
Okay.
Basically, for me, it's always been either a business or a partner or some sort. I might have had a couple of jobs at a scrapyard here and there.
Right.
But I had a painting flooring business most of my life.
Okay.
And that's why I met you. I met you in Florida on one of our moves to Florida. I met you at church and we connected.
Erik and I both moved to Florida roughly. Well, you were there a few years before.
Maybe like a year and a half.
We moved in January of 17.
We moved in 16.
You moved in 16.
No, same time, January.
Was it?
We moved to North Carolina October 16, and then we went to Florida 3 months later.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, so we moved to Florida the exact same time. And then we left Florida. Both of us went there just chasing after God. Or I did for sure. I guess I can't speak for you.
Not exactly yet.
No. So we went there just chasing after God and seeing what He had for us. And it was a really, really hard season. So we retreated and we came running back to Michigan in July. And when did y'all move?
I'd say a month or two after you guys left. We came back, same reason as we came back I still had business in Wisconsin. And so we came back to Wisconsin because, same thing, like got tough, got hard, and we're like, we're not going to do this right now. Like, let's go. So yeah, it was an interesting move. Yeah. But it's kind of, that's kind of wild. But.
So you've had that flooring, construction, painting company for?
Since 2009 is when I started Level 5 Finishes.
Okay.
Before that, I was a partner with a guy in Florida doing just painting.
Okay.
And then when I moved back to Wisconsin, I got into doing corporate Verizon cell phone stores, flooring, painting, toppers, pizzas, and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I moved to Florida again, and then that's when I kind of got into the remodeling to try to stay busy doing something, right? And then I kind of got into more remodeling, moved back to Wisconsin, and really started doing more remodeling and less painting and stuff like that. So, and then we ran into the gutter business.
Right.
So.
Yeah, tell everybody about that and how that kind of conspired and what that looked like and how you got into that.
So basically I was burnt out of the Level 5 Finishes. I was burnt out of working, 70, 80 hours a week and still just surviving. And my pastor at my church, kept saying to me, hey, there's going to be a business. There's going to be a business that's going to pop up. You need to be open to it and try something new. And one day I was working on a house, putting in a dryer vent, and I knew the guy's cousin, but his name's Rick. He comes outside and he's like, hey, is your name Erik? And I said, yeah. And he goes, is your last name's Adank? And I said, yeah. And he goes, Karen told me to ask you if you wanted to buy my gutter business. And I'm like, I don't know Karen still to this day.
You still don't know who Karen is?
I don't know who Karen is, so I have no idea. Don't know who Karen is. No idea. So then we started talking, and then I called you, and I negotiated with him a little bit, and we worked out a deal, and then I bought it. And our goal was to get rid of Level 5 Finish as fast as possible. So I was telling a couple of guys here earlier that our goal was to do like 14,000 in the first 2 weeks or something, and then we were going to say Level 5 is gone. Yep. So we hit that in the first week.
Really?
And then the second week, we even beat that. We're like, this is crazy.
Yep.
So then, that was basically gone. I never even look back, it was just boom. Now here we are, full-time gutters immediately. So it was a huge blessing.
So into full-time gutters. So now tell us your business, right? You're working 70, 80 hours a week. You're the man. You're doing everything.
Everything.
Right? Did you continue that when you got into the seamless gutters then?
Yes and no. So it was, no, I wasn't working. Like I was still bidding jobs on the back end, but I was not, like I want to say I was doing like maybe working 30 hours a week.
Okay.
Versus before I was working, nonstop day and night to get jobs done and, everything I had to do to get the next paycheck, right?
Right.
Versus like the gutters, it was like, that was the first time for me that there was always money in the account.
Okay.
It didn't matter. I just ordered material and everything, and it just kept snowballing. It was always there, and I'm like, this is how it's supposed to be, right?
Right.
So then I got a taste, and yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. The quality of life, because the quality of the work was easier.
Right.
I didn't have to have guys in people's houses anymore.
Yep.
That's easier. So then you eliminate all those headaches.
Right.
And it was just different. It was easy. It was fun.
So you're operating the seamless gutter company. Did you have employees then, or were you?
I had one guy that worked with me full time.
Okay. All right.
I had two different guys throughout the time that I had the company, but one guy was my main guy basically the whole first season.
Okay. Right.
And it was fun. I mean, we all had fun. I never had really fun working. Usually I was just working because I had to work, but we were having fun. I'm like, cutting myself awesome checks, and I'm like, this is crazy, man. So,
right. The gutter industry is bonkers. For those of you that don't know, the seamless gutter industry is like, it's the gold mine. I call it the gold mine that nobody knows about, right?
Yeah, and I feel like the guy that sold me the business, I don't know why he sold it, because I think his pricing was too low. Obviously, I knew his pricing was too low, but
I told you that when you called me.
I don't think
you're not going to survive at those prices.
No, you can't. I don't think he knew the potential.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think he would have sold it.
Right.
I mean,
we see that a ton in the gutter industry. Right? We'll have people that are good sales reps or good technicians go out and like, I can start my own company. And I can undercut my boss. Right? We're selling at $10 a foot, and I'm losing jobs left and right to these guys selling for $5, $6. I'm going to come in at $7, and I'm going to crush them. Right. Mm-hmm. And then a few months later, we see their truck and trailer for sale. Right. And it's just like, it ain't working. Right. You can't do that. Right. You can't race to the bottom. Right. So let's fast forward. So money's in the bank. Things are working. Things are growing. You're working less, making more. Things are feeling good. How do you and I reconnect?
Winter happened. And I was still kind of playing catch up. So I was still trying to get caught up from where I was short before. So, I didn't get a chance to put anything away. I didn't plan ahead. I banked on a few different projects that were supposed to happen that fell through.
Yep.
So winter happened, and but on a God into things, the Holy Spirit told me just walk it out. Just walk it out. Don't try to do the 80, 90 hours a week thing right now. Just walk it out. I got you, So I'm like, and it sucked. And I was like to my wit's end, man. I'm like, what am I gonna do? But every time it was like it was probably the roughest time I've had financially, but it was amazing up until winter. Then winter came and I really got crushed, and I think there was a reason for that.
Right.
And then the next season, which is
what do you think that reason was?
I think I needed to get broke.
Okay.
I think it needed to break me to open up the potential of I've always tried to control things. I've always I've been the guy I can do it all. I can sell, I can install. I'm gonna make all the money. I'm gonna I need to get out of my own way. And I think it was to the point where I had to ask for help, because I would never ask for help, right?
Right.
If nobody shows up, I just do it.
Yep.
If I can't get help, I just figure it out, right?
Right.
I don't, I just do it, right? And that's I think that could be something from my childhood, but this time I just leaned in and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking. And then I had seen something that you had posted, and that was in maybe March or something. Yeah. And we couldn't start. We should have already been hanging gutters, but it was a month behind. So then I was really hurting. I'm like,
yep.
So then I messaged you. I'm like, I need to get on a call with you. I need some advice. And then it was history from there.
Right. So now we're here. So I made Eric the offer of becoming a partner, right? Not just offering him my product, my course, all that good stuff, right? But I made him the offer of becoming a partner because we are equally aligned, right? We both love Jesus. We love people before money. And I was like, shoot, this guy could be a partner, right? And he was talking about wanting to move anyways. So, so I threw that option out there, and then we did a call with both of our wives, and we just kind of felt each other out a little bit more and what we're looking for. And I maybe mentored a little bit throughout that time, right?
Absolutely.
They were talking about moving to a couple different places, and gave a little bit of unsolicited advice on that. But
that one question I asked you changed everything.
What's that?
I said, can we do this anywhere?
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even plan on asking you that question. It just happened.
Right.
On that one call. I was like, can we do this anywhere? And then everything changed.
That's right. Yeah. So, and we can, right? Literally anywhere in the U.S. Right? Right. I don't know business outside of it. I definitely don't want to go to California, so maybe anywhere but California in the U.S. Or California and outside the U.S. But so we start going down this journey, right? You get into everything. You get access to the full Gutter Launch program. What do you see that was instant, not necessarily like the nuts and bolts, but things of the business side of things that you hadn't recognized before in your now 15 years of being in business?
I think the biggest struggle that I had and a lot of people have is we don't know how to, we don't know, A, a lot of us don't ask for help. B, we don't know, how do we scale? How do we, what's a CRM?
Right.
How do we market?
Yeah.
And then do we have time? Because, how I was then before is okay, I have to market, I have to do it all, right?
And do we have money?
Right.
Do we have money to do the marketing?
Right.
Do we have money to hire people? Right.
Yeah. And I think that, when I got into that course and I started digging into everything, I was just I had some stuff in place like LLC and whatever, but I was still missing a lot of things,
Right.
And I think it's I can't see any way that if you have capital to do the marketing and do everything and follow it, it's impossible.
Right.
There's no way. I don't think you need any experience.
No.
You just need to do it.
Right.
And I was so for me, I didn't get to implement a lot of things.
Right.
But now we get to implement those things, and I'm super jacked. But I did get to implement, I raised my prices.
Right.
I added my charge for downspouts and outside corners and stuff like that, and that was huge.
Right.
And now you're oh, that's how I can hire, marketing and ads, and that's how I can pay, other people to help and do stuff. And,
that's right.
And I think that's huge because when you get so busy and you're wearing all the hats, it's you can't even, sometimes it's hard to even bid jobs.
Right.
So it's
you're struggling to survive,
and then
let
you
alone
see
build.
that, yeah, man, that system, I think about it every day. I'm I just can't, it's amazing.
Right. So now, fast forward, and we're here, right? You've been here a day and a half. What do you see that's different here compared to the businesses you've had in the past and the businesses you've been a part of in the past, right? What's different about really the atmosphere and all that here?
Like I said before, I was kind of nervous. I don't think I even slept the first night that I got here. I just couldn't sleep because and I'm not usually get nervous, but I was didn't know what I was going to walk into. Are people going to be tough or what's the situation? And when I walked in the door and I met, in the warehouse, I met the first few guys. It was I already knew them. I already knew them. It was their energy and their, just the way that they carried themselves and the smiles on their faces. I mean, everybody is just welcoming and happy, and there's nobody around here is walking around with a bad look on their face, or there's just not, man. And it's everybody's easy, and there's been no awkward conversations. Right. It's we've all known each other for 20 years, and I think I don't even know. I mean, now I'm going to learn how to find that, right?
Exactly.
But that's amazing.
Right.
Versus, even with my business, it's you expect guys to do what you do. So it's like you're always on them, and it's like tough, and you're burning them out. And, I realize now why that was, right? I can't expect them. I think I got that out of one of your coachable moments or something, right?
That's right.
Like you can't expect an employee to act like you as a business owner, and I'm like, oh, geez, I mean, a little late now, but now we can implement it into the next phase.
That's right.
But the atmosphere here is amazing.
So that's the main reason you come up here, right? There's obviously some logistical crap, right? Getting the company phone and getting all that stuff together. But the leadership development, right? Going through, you're going to leave here with 5 levels of leadership, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to listen to that on the plane ride home, right? Or on the car ride home. You're driving your new box truck home. But so you'll listen to 5 levels of leadership on your drive down to North Carolina. And then after that, you'll listen to Dream Manager, right? Those 2 books completely changed my entire outlook on company culture. I went from, in that coachable moment you're referencing, expecting perfection out of every area of my business, right? To understanding that most people don't know the difference between 80 and 100%. Right? Whether they're customers, whether they're employees, whatever. They don't understand the difference between 80 and 100% of perfection. So when I became okay with accepting 80% from each of my employees rather than the 100 that I put in, is when the atmosphere started to change here, right? Now, I still had employees that were crap bags that I had to get rid of, right? Some of them family members, some of them good friends. I had to get rid of them, right? Because they were holding us in a place where we couldn't grow anymore. Got rid of them, and then we went from like a negative culture to like ground zero. All right, now we're good. Like we're at a fresh base, and we can start growing again. Kind of like had to till up the land, get rid of all the junk, and we can plant new seed and grow it, right? And so that's what we did, right? I had an operations manager who was amazing at helping us get to that point of neutrality, but then I needed someone who really knew the horticulture and how to grow, right? And so then it just became hiring the right people, putting the right butts in seats rather than just putting butts in seats. And I was keenly aware of who I was hiring and why I was hiring them, and less aware of their skill set and how it could benefit the business. It was 100% personality based, and will their personality jive with everybody else here? And will I be able to lead them in their personal lives so that their personal lives can grow? Because if an employee can't grow outside of the workplace, they're never going to grow in the workplace. Right? And now I don't do it just to gain from them in the workplace. I've had countless employees that have gone from being my employee to starting their own business, or being my employee to their dream job, right? Or whatever that looks like. I don't do it to kind of hoard them. I do it because I genuinely want to lead them in their personal life so that they can achieve their dreams for their family, right? Awesome. Their spouse, their kids, whatever. So we do that. And that's why we read books, right? That's why we're constantly picking a book out of here and reading it for 12 weeks or however many chapters there are, right? We go through these books, and it radically changes lives. I mean, we've got a guy living in the woods right now because we just read a book, and he's like, I'm completely changing my personality. I'm going to live in the woods for the next 4 months and find who I am and what I want out of life. And I'm just going to pursue that because that's important to me, right? So that's what we're doing here. We're building people, not a business, right? And when you build people, they build your business for you, right? So I've been known to say my business, I've built maybe 20-25% of it. My team has built the rest of it, right? My entire sales process built by somebody else. My entire operational side built by somebody else. My entire admin side built by somebody else. Well, what's left, Colin? Marketing, and I did do some of the sales, right? But those were my strong suits. Those are what I wanted to know and what I wanted to contribute to the company. Everything else I didn't really care about as much, right? So I found people who were better at me, or better at it than me. And that's my whole outlook, right? Everybody in this company is building somebody to succeed them, right? Elijah, our cameraman, is interviewing people right now who are going to be better than him at editing these videos, maybe, right? But he's interviewing people to be better than him so that he can grow and become more of our social media guru, right? And like our whole, not even social media guru, I guess we'll call him like, I don't know what that role is going to be called, but we need creative director. There we go. The video editing is killing him, right? So we need to build somebody to succeed him there, right? Mm-hmm. And we're doing that in every position in the company, and that's what I preach is you want the person that you're training to be better than you, right? Or the person that you're hiring to be better than you. If we ever turn somebody away because they're too good for that position, we're doing something wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Like, no, how can they come in and change that position? Maybe we got to pay them more than what this position hires, but what can they bring to that, right? And how can we influence them outside of the workplace, right? So that's what we focus on so heavily is what happens outside of the workplace. And that will create this environment where everybody shows up 5-10 minutes early to hang out and eat bagels, eat breakfast together, right? Drink their coffee together, whatever it might be. And it's just really cool.
It is cool.
I walk in, everybody's already here. And I'm like, what's up, guys? And everybody's laughing, having a good time. And then we all go and get our jobs done. Right? So that's what I want in every single location as we go nationwide, right?
Yep.
I want to transition a little bit, right? So we're talking about people. I want to talk about how this works, right? And confirmations of things moving in the right direction and doing things the right way, right? So I could be offering this opportunity to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And they'd be stupid not to take it, right? At the end of the day, I'm buying a brand new truck, or I mean, yours has 4,000 miles on it or whatever, maybe 5 now because it had to be driven here, but 5,000 miles on this truck, brand new gutter machine, all the tools, everything. Like I'm outfitting it completely, and then I come in, I do all the initial marketing to get you off the ground, and it runs, right? So there's no real initial risk for Erik, right? I mean, yes, to be a partner, they pay $30,000 to become a partner in it, but beyond that, there's no risk, right? It's a foolproof plan. Here's every process system, and the biggest selling point is you're not going to be the one selling, installing, answering the phones, all that stuff. We've got a full phone system, or we've got a full phone center that does all the admin stuff, right? Handles all of that. So that's automatically off your plate, right? You just show up and you sell initially, and then eventually we succeed you in the sales position, right? But we instantly hire technicians, get those ads running, and things just get rolling, right? So when I make this offer to people, they're like, well, shoot, I can't even buy the truck and the trailer for $30,000, or the truck and the machine for $30,000, right? Like, this is a no-brainer. And then they get 50% profit sharing, right? It's a no-brainer, but I only offer it to certain people, right? So I could be making this offer to everybody. I could grow super, super fast. I mean, it's the best franchise-like offer that isn't a franchise.
Right.
And but I'm very, very particular because the money is not the reason I'm doing it, right? I have a goal of building leaders in it. You, and then everybody underneath you, right? So if I build you into a leader, then you get to infect everybody else with leadership underneath you. And that's our goal in doing it. So a reward that I'm already seeing from doing this, when Erik showed up, we did a live video on Facebook. Yeah. Just introduced Erik and his new truck and all that good stuff. That live video, we got a comment from a fella who lives 45 minutes away, right? He's like, oh, I'd love to refer some jobs to you guys, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that'd be awesome. Would love to connect, right? I don't know if we service your area or not, but if not, we'll absolutely send stuff your way. That's over there, right? But then it went a step further. He private messaged me, and Erik's hearing this for the first time.
Okay, I knew he was going to message you.
And so he private messaged me, and he's like, hey, so my wife and I are going to serve on a mission trip for a very long time in Ukraine, and I want to sell my business. And this business is last I talked to him, it's a pretty warm lead. He and I have talked plenty of times before. Last I talked to him, he was doing like $500,000-$600,000 a year in revenue in just seamless gutter, right? So he's got a business. He's owner-operator still, pretty heavily, but he's got a really good name. It's Superior Seamless Gutter.
I've seen that,
And which was my company's original name when I first launched it. So I thought that was really funny. But he's like, I'd be interested in selling. Would your partner be interested in buying it? And I said, well, I'm the guy that would be interested in buying it, but let me talk to him. And I mean, that could be, boom, instant right away. So he's looking to move really, really fast on. I don't know how fast I'm ready to move on that, right? We're just getting rolling here. I don't know if it makes sense, but it might, right? Just though another confirmation that, hey, you do the right things and I'll put the right things in front of you, right? The right opportunities. And that's what we're focused on, right? Are those right opportunities. So the goal with all my partners is not for you guys to have one location, but to have as many locations as you can handle, right? So that's what we're after. So dropping that bomb on
that's
you.
That's amazing.
What I mean, you're pretty in tune with the Holy Spirit, so
that's wild.
I don't know if that was a confirmation for you or anything, but
it's just funny because I was kind of thinking about him because I seen him on there and I looked at his Facebook page and he's actually friends with one of my mentors in Florida who built my website like crazy. You know, that's wild too, right? And he doesn't know that, but because I was looking, I asked you, I was like, he's kind of in our service area a little bit, you know, like, you know, that's wild, man. Right. That's wild.
Yeah. So there's tons of opportunity out there. So what is going to change in your family by taking this route of doing the business partnership and being limited on those hours, right? Because I will limit you. You're not going to be allowed to work 70 hours a week.
Got it.
Right? But then, so being home more and then making probably more money than there's probably times in your life where you made more money in a month or whatever like that, but consistent money. Right? Making more money than you've ever made consistently. What is that going to do for your family?
I think it's going to change. It's going to, in my vision and in what I feel and what the Lord's told me is that it's basically going to change my kids, right? Like on the children's side of it. But the fact that we were able to do it anywhere and we were able to move from where we were going to move to North Carolina to where now we can have family and work on our marriage. Right. I think it's going to be huge. Right. It ain't even about the money. Yep. Because if we're obedient, like you look at like buying the house. I mean, how did I buy a house there? I have no idea. Like there's only one way that house.
This is a whole other miracle.
That's a whole other whole other conversation, right? But I think it's going to be like it's a little crazy right now because I just got there a week ago and left but it's going to make us a powerhouse and that's why I reached out to you and it was you just said it earlier about how like you got to hire people that are better than you. Like that was the post that you made that I had seen when I was like we have to talk. Yeah. And that's what I told you, like, I want to get to that level so that I can, pour in correctly to my kids. I can pour into my wife and I can pour into others and figure all that stuff out with a clear mind, so now I can go home at the end of the day and shut it off and I can be family versus.
Yeah. Cause you're doing those things right now. I mean, you're home, you're with your kids, you're with your wife, but you're stressing out about money, everything. About this job,
gotta make this call.
Exactly. This call.
Gotta work late, can't do,
who else has been there, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is that the way that I've treated business and my family, and this is just me being humble, is that I've limited my wife from being more of who she could be. Right. And even my kids, because I've made it all about work. Yeah. So it's like they can't do anything unless I can't work, right? So and that's just how it happened, and that's why I said to you before, I'm like, dude, all I got is me. Right. But I'm done with the old me. I'm ready to do I'm like, something's got to change, right? Right. So I think it's going to be more than I can even think about. Right. we have a lot of plans, like, like I've told you, we want to do, street ministry stuff and,
Yep.
Turn the t-shirt business into a ministry of some sort and, help, youth and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it's just going to flow.
Right.
Like, because we're following what we should be following,
Exactly.
So it's going to be huge, man.
Right.
Like I'm like, I'm trying to keep my wife calm, and I'm like, we just got here. Like this everything's going to change, right? Like it's not the same. It's just maybe for the first week it's the same, but
yeah.
Like let this get rolling, and
right.
But things are falling into place. Like the land that I'm like, I need to sell this land, like
right.
And boom, and sold it this morning.
That's right.
That's huge because that's a cushion. So
right.
I'm excited, man.
It's one less thing to maintain. Yeah.
My mind has never been as clear as it is right now, or as free.
Right.
When we left Wisconsin and we're driving, we were texting and we're like, we felt like we just got out of jail.
Right.
Like we just like, and there's some other families that are friends that left at the same time, and they literally texting us the same thing. They're like, dude, we just feel like we just were freed from prison, or like, like it was just something weird going on.
Right.
Like
there's a ton of power in the physical moving.
Right.
Right. That's why this way underplays it. But they say, if you want to work out, you just got to start working out.
Right.
Right. Thinking about working out doesn't make you want to work out.
Yeah.
Once you start doing it and the endorphins start flowing and the blood starts flowing, then you want to work out. Right. There's something really freeing about physically moving.
Right.
And you guys experienced that. When you got in that truck after finding your keys miraculously.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was freeing, right? You guys were driving and you're like, that life is in the past.
As soon as I pulled out the driveway, it was like, it didn't matter.
Right.
But it started before that. It was like once we picked the location, all the blessings started pouring out.
Right.
Once we were like, because things weren't really happening with the original move idea.
Yep.
Like I was making them happen.
Right.
I was gonna, but it was again me, and I'm like, no. This is doesn't feel right. But once we picked, we're like, okay, it's North Carolina. Okay, we're partnering with Colin. It was just like testimony after testimony after testimony.
Right.
I mean, the house is crazy.
Yeah, let's touch on that because this is the second time it's come up. So yeah, let's touch on this. So Erik, you live in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You're moving to North Carolina. You guys are looking at houses to buy, and you find one that you want. You make an offer, and you're moving to North Carolina to start a new business. All right. Those that don't know, you don't get a mortgage when you start a new business. All right.
And I was self-employed then.
Your entire life.
Yeah, right.
And you probably hadn't shown a ton of income.
No.
On any of your taxes because
right.
You're chucking a truck, right? You just
yeah.
don't do that when you're chucking a truck. Everything's an expense, and
yeah.
you get rid of it, and then you don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year, right? So he had almost no income in Wisconsin, right?
Just closing out the gutter jobs, yeah.
Right.
Nothing.
And so no income. Your wife does not work, right? Or she does?
No, she has like a Etsy business, but it's stalled right now. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So no income. Move to North Carolina. You try and buy this house. Like, tell the story.
So basically, it goes back. We've been trying to buy a house or find a house in Wisconsin for the whole time we've been there, and just nothing would pan out, or we just couldn't get approved, or it just never happened. Right? It was.
Right.
It'd be like almost there, and then gone. We're like, well, that's weird. Like, what's up with that? Doing the right things, but then just not happening. And so the day that we picked the location is when it started, right? Like, we're like, okay. Amber's like, I'm just gonna call a lender, and she's like, so she calls a lender, and the lender's like, the lender, she calls a lender, and the lender's like, basically kind of was saying that she could approve me on this like right away. So then she's like, she has me call her name. Her name's Rebecca. So Amber's like, call Rebecca. She wants you to call her right now. So I call her, and this is what I say. I'm like, hi Rebecca. I'm like, this is Erik Adank or whatever. And she's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm like, I'm just gonna tell you right now that I expect a miracle. I expect a miracle. There's the only way this is gonna happen is if there's a miracle. And she's like, okay. Right. And I'm
she's like, this is a great lead. Awesome. I'm so glad I got you.
But you had to speak it out. Like, it's like you have to. I just went in faith, and I'm like, This is what's going to happen. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to be a miracle. And we actually, we have a lot of land that we had for sale there. And we're like, I told the realtor, I said, God's going to sell this, not you. And if he's not going to sell it, then we're going to keep it. Well, we had an offer. We had somebody offer us almost asking price, and that's why we made the offer on the house, right?
Okay.
And then, so anyways, that lady, back up. That lady approves me in like 30 minutes. She's like, "You're approved for $250." And I'm like, "What? That's crazy! Like, I've been trying to do this for years and never, And so then we find a house, and we're like, it was the only one we could find on the market was like $275. So I was gonna lowball him to I'm like, let's make an offer for $240.
Right.
Because that's where I'm at.
Yep.
I can go up 10K, right? And in the meantime, Amber's like praying about like, we need an extra, I think 30,000 or something, and I need it for the same down payment. So then the lender calls her and is like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I got you an extra 30-some thousand or whatever, and for the same exact down payment." And I didn't know that. But then then we connected the dots, and I'm like, "Okay, call the realtor." I'm like, full asking price.
Right. Let's just get a house.
Let's just get a house, right? And because there was like 10 showings scheduled that day. So right away in the morning, like 5 a.m., I'm like, "Dude, full asking price, 45-day close, and let's do it." So they accepted it. And then all of a sudden, the people that are going to buy my land, they just dishonestly backed out. They waited till their 30-day due diligence was up, and they're like, "No, we're out." So then I'm like, now I'm scrambling because that was my down payment, right? So now we're like, she had my wife had, God told her that was our house, that we were going to do, worship and have prayer meetings there and stuff, and he's going to give us that house. So I just leaned into that. Right. And I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this. That's our house. If he told you that's our house, don't stress it out. Like, it's going to happen. And so then we kept doing the process, and you guys kept helping because we needed certain things, and still we're scrambling to get the money, right? And then out of the blue, this guy calls me and he's like, "Do you still have the gutter business for sale?" And I'm like, "I do." And he had reached out to me like 3 times on Facebook through a girl's account, and I never messaged him back because I thought it was like a scam. Oh. He's like, "I'll pay you." He's like, "Hey, I just need some information. I just want to come with you for a day and see it, and I'll just pay you what you're asking. No negotiation or nothing, And I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of weird." And he tries to get financing, couldn't get it, and then his dad offers to give him, the money from his 401k or whatever. So he comes to me for a day, which was perfect because he went and bid a ton of jobs and or a couple jobs, but they were big jobs. And then he helped me on some jobs. And he's like, "All right, I'm buying it." So I was able to put the contingency in for with the lender that, hey, we're going to sell the business, and this is how much is going to be there. He's going to give me a cashier's check. But I needed it by this certain day, and it wasn't happening on his end. Like his dad didn't know. Yep. All of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be there at 1:30 on a Friday," which is the day I needed it by the end of the day. He shows up at my house at he's like, "I'll be there by 1:30. He shows up at 1:30, gives me a cashier's check for the full amount, and leaves. He's like, "I'll come back this weekend," and I'm still hanging gutters, right? Right. So I'm like, well, because I told him like, "Do you need it right now? Because I really need to go. I got to go back and finish the job, right?" And then, so then I take the cashier check. I look at Amber. I'm like, "Is this real?" Right. I'm like, it didn't look real. It didn't say cashier's check. It was just a weird looking check. Even the bank, they're like, but then, and then usually it's not available for, right. I put it in the bank. It was available right now. Really? Like, and then, then basically, boom, I closed. And the following week was closing. Right. And they closed on time. That's crazy. Insane. Crazy. Right. It's the craziest thing ever, So we owned the house for a month before we even got here. Right. Out of control. But yeah. So that's just, there's no other, if someone can explain that another way, please do.
Yeah. Right? So it all started with being humbled.
Humble.
Right. Yeah. Like humbled. Yeah.
Like I was done, man. What else did I have?
Right. Right. Nothing. There it is. That's the gist of this entire podcast, right? Yeah. Is it all starts with humility, right? When you can humble yourself, and that's probably the best compliment that I've ever gotten from one of my mentors. And this is a shout out to my buddy Josh Latimer, who is not just a mentor, but a really good friend. We're getting to the end of him actually mentoring me. He was exiting this program that he mentored me through, and we're still going to be friends, but like our regular meetings every week, we're going to be done, right? And he's like, "Hey guys, I just, I want to go through and just kind of tell you guys stuff I've learned about you over the last couple of years," because it was him and me and 3 other business owners, right? So he goes person by person, and he's like, "Colin, I want to tell you that your humility is going to make you a billionaire someday, because you are the first to admit when you don't know something. And that is way different than when I met you 4 years ago. When I met you 4 years ago at the barbecue in your backyard, you had all the answers to everything. This employee that, this employee this, employees are tough. This, blah, blah, blah. Like, you had all the answers, right? I couldn't tell you anything. He goes, and now you're the first person on all these calls to be like, hey, I don't know what that means. How do I do that?
Right.
But Josh, you've done this. Wes, you've done this, right? I don't know how to do this. Will you teach me? Because you have no pride in being, in just knowing it, right? You have no pride in that. Mm-hmm. You are humble. And that is at that moment where I realized, like, holy cow, this is something that is a good thing. And I just started like reflecting on my life, all the times when people are like, yeah, I know. And then they just don't do it, pisses me off, right? But when they are saying things like, I don't know, man, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? When somebody tells you, I don't know how to do that, can you show me? Your guard, I mean, you just drop everything. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Right? We could be hanging gutter with a new guy.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can you do this downspout real quick? It needs to be this. I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? Yeah, absolutely. But when he says, yeah, sure, and then he goes and does it all wrong, I get way more pissed at that than I do by just helping him, right? And now I haven't installed gutter in years, but that was just off the cuff example. When we humble ourselves, and I'm very intentional now when I'm in mastermind groups to be humble. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it edifies those people too. And they want to serve you. When you have built a life that you dreamed of as a child, and you've built all of your own wealth and all of your own success, whether that's in marriage or finances or religion or whatever that is, if you've built that success yourself, you want to share it with everybody. Right? It's like me with the gutter launch program, right? I've built this and it works really well. I want to share it with everybody. Right. So when you've built that, you want to share it with people. So when people come to you and say, hey, I need help with this, like, you get excited, you get giddy, right? So humility is such a key to everything in life, right? Mm-hmm. Your marriage can't be better until you humble yourself. Right. Your relationship with your kids can't be better until you humble yourself. Your business can't be better until you humble yourself, right? All of these areas in life where if we just humble ourselves, we can grow 10x, 100x, right? Like, it's infinite. You can just keep growing. I just spewed a ton of stuff there.
And that's like on the call that, when we first talked, I didn't plan to even share anything that I really shared, right? Like, it wasn't my plan, but I prayed before the call and I said, Holy Spirit, just talk, man. Like, cause I don't want to get on the call and be like, cause I called you cause I don't even know why, like, right? Like, I still think about the call. I'm like, well, I called him for advice, but really, like, what, it's just, what I mean? Like, it's just hard to even explain that. Right. And it was just, even after the call, like I don't know if it was the first call that we had that you were like, hey, what if we did this? Right. But we're going to stop this call right now. Dude, I walked out, I couldn't even speak to Amber. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just lost it. Because I'm like, I think this is what just happened. Yep. And, we're like.
Yeah, I cliffhangered you a little bit with the partnership offer. Yeah. And
all of it, I was like. Right. Like, thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Like, we've been praying. Right. Right. But I had to step out of my own way, and I had to be like, I had to admit verbally that, hey, I'm like about to lose it. You know what I mean? Like, it's all gone. I'm done. The bride's gone. I'm over it.
And that was it, man. That was the call. You were vulnerable, right?
Like, I was like.
I think I said something along those exact same words. Like, you're a much different person. Yeah. Than the Erik that I remember from Florida.
Yeah. Right? Even a year ago, like you said in the truck, like, and I didn't even realize. You don't even realize, that you're being like that sometimes. So. Right. Sometimes you got to get to a spot where, that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like I was just, in a sense, God, he had to break me,
Right.
you know, and I had to be willing to get broke.
Exactly.
To be fixed, you know, and
that's it.
I'm like ready.
Right. Be willing to get broke.
Right.
That's it.
It's got to happen sometimes.
Right.
Like, it's got to happen. Sometimes people wonder why they go through hard times, and sometimes that's why.
That's right. 100%. Well, I think that's a heck of an ending to this. Be willing to get broke.
Be willing to get broke. Yeah.
So, broke financially, broken heart, broken all of it, right?
Broken all of it.
Yeah, break it all right? Let it break. So, yeah, anything else that you want to cover?
No, just want to thank you.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
That's right.
I'm kind of bored because I'm so ready to go.
That's right.
You know? I'm like,
you're a very high energy person.
Yeah.
I can see you like squirming in your seat, ready to like, all right,
it's
I'm just ready to go back and go.
But I'm working on that, right? Like that's part of me where I got to just, even Amber said, she's like, what are you going to do all this time? I'm like, I'm going to pour into that. I need to pour into the family.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to find another project.
That's right.
And if I do, we all need to do it.
It's going to be your house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to do that very quick.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It'll all come.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Just throw some paint up. You'll be fine.
Right, yeah, that's basically it. Let's just paint the paneling in the basement.
That's right.
Paint does a lot.
I love painting paneling. So anyways. Alrighty, so that covers it, y'all. That's our episode with Erik Adank and how to be okay with getting broke. So
right.
Love y'all. God bless. Win bigly.
Thanks.